protected.
Well, and as the country marks 16 years since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, much is yet to be achieved according to constitutional experts. Basic human rights and freedoms have been trampled on, with the government that is tasked with ensuring Kenyans enjoy the fruit of the Constitution standing accused of violating them. Separation of powers hasn't also been achieved, as the Kenya Kwanza administration is on the spot for oftenly interfering with the legislature. Alano Chanda looks at the Bill of Rights and Separation of Powers as entrenched in the 2010 Constitution versus President William Ruto's administration.
President William Ruto rode and capitalized on the shortcomings of his predecessor, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration, especially on the blatant disregard of the law where Kenyans' rights were trampled on. 4 years into his leadership, and the situation hasn't changed. Under the 2010 Constitution, the Bill of Rights spans from Articles 19 to 59, enumerating the specific rights and freedoms Kenyans should enjoy. Under Article 25, rights that can never be limited include freedom from torture, right to a fair trial, and the right to human dignity. All these under President William Ruto's reign have been disregarded, Kenyans suffering at the hands of security apparatus, especially during demonstrations that are anchored in the Constitution, where tens have lost lives, dozens abducted, and some not even put to trial after several days of incarceration. More so, extrajudicial killings, abductions, and enforced disappearance have become a norm, with cases of death in police cells, such as that of teacher and blogger Albert Ojwang at the Central Police Station, painting grim picture of the government. Still, the government stands accused of violating the constitutional right of assembly, where goons linked to influential persons in government have run amok, threatening peaceful assemblies.
We have seen growth of the culture of goonism during the current government term in office, which is of great concern, and it is a negative in terms of how they have dealt with the Constitution.
When you look at whether he has allowed people to freely express themselves, of course, you see that the young people who are speaking through the mass media, the social media and all that, they are being followed up and, you know, being arrested. That, oh, you drew a caricature of the president, you said this or that, you know about Albert Ojwang. So on the fundamental freedoms, and especially the freedom of expression, there is quite low scoring on that.
The 2010 Constitution divides state power among 3 independent arms of government to prevent tyranny and ensure accountability. The 3 arms of government are the executive, which enforces law, runs state administration, and sets government policy. The legislature passes laws, controls national revenue allocation, and oversees the executive, while the judiciary interprets the law and applies justice. Under the Kenya Kwanza administration, there have been claims of overreach and encroachment of the executive on the other independent arms of government. Parliament has been termed as an appendage of the executive, where important bills and key decisions like the impeachment of the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was said to have originated from State House, watering down the spirit of the 2010 Constitution. While the judiciary, on the other hand, has faced threats, especially after unfavorable rulings against the executive, finding itself at the mercy of the executive in terms of funding.
There has been claims of overreach, and those claims, some of them seem to have evidence, overreach by the executive in matters to do with parliament. We've also started hearing, those of us who are in leadership of the law society, that part of the culture of phone calls being made to judges or judicial officers in certain sensitive cases by the executive has come back, and this is very worrisome. So this kind of like irregular, unlawful and unconstitutional means being used by the executive to control either the judiciary or the legislature are unfortunate. They need to come to an end.
Judiciary has tried, despite interferences, despite being entire, influences from the executive and other quarters, judiciary has actually tried. Parliament is in the pocket of the judiciary, you know that. I mean, they do what the head of state bids them to do. They have confirmed themselves that they receive bribes. So we cannot really trust Parliament at this time. They are in the pocket of the executive.
At 16 years of the Constitution's existence, experts warn the key foundations of the crucial guiding document should at least have taken shape and not grapple with teething problems. Alan Ochanda, KTN.